welcome back to our social work side hustle series right now. We are going through all the social work side hustles that myself and my business partner, Dr. Lillian Rodriguez, have used to hustle up and make additional money along the way and grow our portfolio. Again, my name is Tiffany Tait, licensed clinical social worker, certified daring way facilitator, and serial entrepreneur. You can read more about who we are on unorthodoxgroup.com. Today, I am jumping right in to the ways that you can maximize your reimbursements and profits in a private practice setting. First things, we are jumping right on into this today. Let's talk about billing audits. So most individuals don't consider auditing both from the office manager's perspective, right? How is it going with collecting on co-pays? If you're billing insurances, how are the reimbursements coming back? Are they doing it within the regular revenue cycle time frame? Are you maximizing on those reimbursements? To really look at the nuances of insurance billing auditing, you may need to call in an independent auditor or an independent billing company that specializes in private practices and behavioral health care. And they can look at all your billing codes and to ensure that you're using the correct codes, the correct modifiers, that you're maximizing on the amount of services that the particular policy allows for in an outpatient setting. So the first thing you really want to consider is a full billing audit internally to make sure that you are following up, collecting co-pays, collecting out-of-pockets, as well as if you have insurance billing, that you're doing a true independent billing audit. If you have a billing company, I urge you, do not use your same billing company to audit this. You need an independent billing auditor. You need a second set of eyes to make sure that we catch where some of the errors are or where they're not maximizing on those reimbursements. The second place to look. Consider your other options for collection. So a lot of people do private practice these days, and you do private pay with those private practice clients. That is an excellent way to maximize those services. But there's also ways, and a lot of people don't like dealing with the insurance contracts and so forth. There are ways to maximize in that as well. Consider out-of-network insurance options. So the same way you would write a contract with a Blue Cross or a Humana or something of the sort, you can also be an out-of-network provider for those individuals. There are pros and cons to this, but one of the pros are higher billing allowances. Simply put, you are able to bill at a higher rate and usually collect at a higher rate, but you also have to hold the client responsible for a larger copay, and it is not guaranteed because there's not a contract in place. But this can be a significant difference in terms of reimbursement. Again, a good billing specialist or a good billing company can really look to determine what the going rates are and reimbursements that are coming in your area for your codes and your services that you provide, and see if it's worth it to try to start to bill out of network for some additional insurance carriers. Very good way to try to maximize. You may even have some that you don't take in an in-network contract, and you might as well just start taking 4 out-of-network services. It can be riskier, but it can have larger profit margins all around. So that's a different one to consider as well. That was number 2, out-of-network billing. Number 3, we are talking about contract renegotiations. It's really important to consider the fact that, yes, once you get a contract, sometimes these days they are just written with a blank letter. When you're negotiating contracts for your private practice, Humana may say this is just in for the life of the contract together. Other contracts may say you have 3 years on this contract, 5 years. There are ways to renegotiate along the way. I know that you may say that you're locked in for this rate for this time. If you can prove that you are providing, an evidence-based practice that needs for a particular population that needs this service, or if there's some kind of justification clinically, you can go back to the renegotiating table. You also want to consider, which most people don't consider in private practice, and we talk about this a lot, value-based contracts. So value-based contracts are regular negotiated contracts through a Blue Cross, through a United, through a Cigna for your private practice and services. But in addition to the flat rate that you get per hour, you're able to negotiate an additional payment at the end of the year for your outcome studies. So this can be profitable in a number of ways. Not only will maybe United, right, say there's an additional 10% allowance on whatever you've billed for the year based on your outcomes, and they'll send you a check straight for that additional chunk at the end of the year. But you can also then utilize the time in the meantime while you're collecting that outcome data With targeted case managers, case management services, certain policies will allow you to bill for these peer support and targeted case management services, not all, some. So you could be actually billing and expanding your private practice in the collection of this data so that you can actually get more money from the end of the year value-based contract. So, a lot of information in a short amount of time. To recap, we're talking about maximizing profits in private practice. And we went over some basic tools like billing auditing, both internal and with an external billing auditor through a medical billing company. We're talking about billing out-of-network insurance and weighing the pros and cons of that. And we are also looking at renegotiating contracts to include value-based contracts and outcomes. As always, if you like what we're talking about and you're all with this social work side hustles and maximizing your profits, please hit the subscribe button below and join us next week for a new social work side hustle. Have a blessed day, guys.